vacuum this pool and show Nathan how I hook it up and how I submerge the hose. Of course, first thing I do when I get to a stop is put some tile soap in the water so that the sun's reflectiveness, you can see the bottom a lot more clear with the soap on top. Use an extra large vacuum head on the route. It's really convenient. And this one here, you can just jam the hose directly and make sure it's in there firm. So it could pop out while you're vacuuming, and that's a pain to kind of retrieve it and reattach it. So you take the vacuum. Usually I throw it in here and I kind of open up the hole. And I like to lean the vacuum right up against the main drain, kind of like that. That kind of holds it in place when you set it like that. Most main drains are elevated like this, so that helps. Then I come over here and I get the hose, and what I'll do is I'll feed it in like this to get all the air out. You can also hook it up to a return jet. Some guys do it that way. There's also another method that I was taught that it's kind of an ancient method, but it's effective too, that you look at your mouth and you'll go like this. And you can kind of get the water, but no one does it this way anymore. It's old school, and I don't have the lung capacity to do it like that. But some guys may still do it that way. But I just go like this and feed it in. It's fairly effective. It's not time-consuming. And then when you get down here, you just submerge it, and it's all done. See the water coming out of it all the way down to the bottom. If you're not using a canister, but I recommend using a canister at all the stops. Go through the skimmer. You don't have to go through the skimmer, you can go over the deck. Just pull out this thing here and drop it into the hole in the back. The vacuum is activated. I prefer using a canister when I do this, so I'll submerge the canister, get the air out of it. It's kind of important because it could stop the pump. Attach the hose there, take this end of it, put it in here, attach that. I use the Pentair leaf canister, leaf trap on my route, and that's how you hook it up there like that. All hooked up. Now Nathan's going to vacuum. The first thing you want to do is kind of move the vacuum out of that area where the hose is all tangled up from submerging it. So go ahead and go straight. Yeah, my pole's kind of stiff. Got it? Okay. So go ahead and push the vacuum straight forward. So go straight and kind of walk over that way to get it past that hose. See how all the hose is right there trailing it? Yeah. Okay, and now you can vacuum in your pattern. Now they got past the hose. That's the only problem with the method I use. The hose kind of piles up in one area when you first start. Pull here. I close the pull down. I'm bringing it up. Okay, when I get it here, what I do, make sure I'm not going to trip, pull it out, put it on the deck. I don't have a lot of time. Get that, kind of. Okay, let the air kind of suck everything out. Go ahead and pull the vacuum out of the pool. And then the hose will fill with water as it sucks the water pretty rapidly. Grab that out. The hose is, all the water's out of the hose. It's easy to roll up that way, but you got to be quick about it. And then I just take this off here. Basically, it rolls up pretty easily. It comes rolled in the box, so it's going to have some memory of how it's going to look. So this is a professional hose, so it's very easy to roll, coil up. It comes with this little insert. Stick it in here. Put out the grass. So when you're coiling the pool hose back up, don't let that end go back in the pool, because sometimes dirt will go back in there too. It's still in the hose line. So make sure you curl it up on the deck, as Nathan is trying to do. Alright, there you go. That took about 10 minutes. You know, extend the pole out and try to lean it, put it at an angle. What you want to probably do is put the pole so that the vacuum kind of hits this edge here. So go ahead and extend it out and then have the vacuum kind of hit this edge of the pool. That way it doesn't move away from you, because you have to fetch it if it gets away from you. So and then lean it up against that step area back there. Where the dog's at. Let it go. Just drop it. There you go. Okay, now you can feed the hose and the vacuum's not going to go away. If you don't do that, sometimes the vacuum will be in the middle of the pool with your hose, and you're like staring at it like, oh, now what do I do? So then you got to grab the hose and kind of pull the vacuum back towards you. So feed it in. It looks easy the way I do it. It's pretty good. You gotta just use some force to get underneath there. Okay. Aha. We got a locking basket. Good. I only had that white piece. That piece is a hose connector. Okay, so now we have a locking skimmer basket. So you turn it, see where those tabs are, and now you can pull this one straight up. You overdid it. Turn it back a little bit. There you go.
There we go.
No, handle's useless. Did I tell you that? The last one. There you go. Yeah. So feel which hole has the suction. It's the one right there in the back.
That
there
one.
you go. Yeah. So you see the main drain down there? See how it has some particle debris right there inside the main drain? When you go to vacuum it, you see this center part of the vacuum right here?
Yeah.
That never goes on top, the drain directly on top. You want to go on an angle and get around it and never put this part directly on top of the main drain. What will happen is if you pull back on the vacuum, the suction will pull that main drain and break the cover off the bottom. So around the main drain you just want to go keep the edges around it. I'll show you when I get there and that way you get an idea. I'm going to go over it. See where the suction is on the hose? You want to roll over like that. And then if you're going to back up, you roll over like this. And that the main section part never went over the main drain itself. Just on the side of it. Certain skimmers have smaller holes than the regular sized ones in older pools. You need a hose adapter. So if you're vacuuming with a 2 skimmer pool, you want to put a tennis ball in one of the skimmers. I have one here. Just use a tennis ball to block off one skimmer pipe, and that way the other one has more suction. Here's a skimmer with a 1 hole. It's got that diverter valve in there. You can see it there at the bottom. So make sure it's all the way to the skimmer. That way you can vacuum the pool. Sometimes they're not locking, so you have to kind of move it back when you're vacuuming. You can also get a locking type diverter valve for the skimmer. So with the 1 hole skimmer, again, make sure it's all the way to the skimming side and the main drain is off. So if you're not getting any suction, you have a 1 hole skimmer, you probably don't have this valve diverter set correctly, or you don't have one in your skimmer at all. Basically when you vacuum, you want to stay in a pattern. You don't want to go too fast because you could miss debris. So I'm going to go like this. Let me back it up. This is a special swivel vacuum. It's the top of the line vacuum, so the head of it swivels. So depending on the debris is the speed you want to go in the pool. You want to stay in a pattern, so I'm going to go straight across. I'm going to back up. You want to cross slightly the same area that you vacuumed before in case you miss some debris. Here I am reversing. So it's a back and forth motion of vacuuming, kind of similar to when you vacuum carpet in your house. Going forward again. And if you have sufficient suction, you should have no problem going at a fairly decent pace. If you go too fast, some debris may be stirred up. Now it's Nathan's turn to try. So I sped this up to 4 times speed here. Basically I have Nathan vacuuming the pool. This is the first pool that he vacuumed. I'm telling him to keep it in a straight pattern and trying to keep the vacuum straight. So the hardest part when you're first learning is keeping the vacuum going straight. There he is, it's pretty good right there. I also told him not to go too fast. Again, I'm straightening him out. He's going crooked there. So the hard part of learning is getting that straight pattern, able to vacuum in that straight, consistent pattern that way we don't miss any debris. Here he is readjusting it. So keeping the vacuum straight is the hardest part. Yes, you're getting the hang of it, huh?
Yeah.